In this video, we're going to learn about how to use Salesforce SFDX command to generate a password for a scratch.org user or more than one scratch.org users. We will learn what command that we will use to create a scratch.org. We will also learn the exact command that helps us to generate a password and also the command that helps us to look at the login URL and the username and password for the user to further log into the scratch.org. To demonstrate this, what I have done is I've just created an SFDX project. So this is the project that I have on my local machine. And I have Salesforce CLI already installed on my machine. So this is the version that I currently running on my machine. Perfect. So yeah, so I just start with the terminal, from the VS Code. I go to terminal and then when I click on terminal, I get this terminal window opened, right? So the first thing is I want to create a scratch org. Typically, when a scratch org is created, right, it automatically creates an admin user. So I can use again SFTX commands to open the scratch org, right? So first let's try to create the scratch org and then we'll just come to the next step. So to create a scratch org, I'm going to use the command SFTX force org create. So I want to map the project definition file so that when the scratch org is created, I can instruct Salesforce CLI that when the scratch is created, I want the sample data to be loaded automatically. And I want the lightning experience settings enabled. I want the mobile settings enabled. I want this to be my auth name and the edition to be developer or professional, etc., etc. So this is the definition file that helps, me to define the structure or the base, the structure that I wanted my SketchUp to have. So I'm going to map this one. So it's right there in my project, automatically created when a SFTX project is, created on your machine. So I can just copy the relative path and just put it right here. And number two, I want to define the duration, how long I would like this org, right, to be available. Let me just say let me just say 7 days. Yeah, hyphen D 7 duration. And I want this to be a scratch up. So I will just say hyphen yes. And I want to give a friendly name or alias name. So I'll just say hyphen A and then I'll just say PRMORGV3. Yeah, that's going to be my friendly name to the scratch up. Let's see what happens when you just hit enter. So it takes a while for the Salesforce, right, to create a scratch up. Once it is created, you will just see a success message. Let's wait for the message to appear and then let's continue. Perfect. I think a scratch log has just been created. As you can see, there is a success message, right? Now I can open the scratch log. I can open the scratch log in two ways. Number one, I can just, use my VS Code extension, the Salesforce extension from here. I can just say open, default, or I can do that. Or I can use an SFTX command, which is SFTX force or open, followed by the alias name, which is, the PRM ORGV3. So this way, when I just hit enter, it will just open the org for me. So when I just enter, it just opens the browser and then opens the org for me. So let's wait for the browser to open and then I'm sorry, I think I got the name incorrect. It's ORG, isn't it? Yeah. Let's wait for the browser to open the org. Yeah, as you have just noticed, I know I was able to open the scratcher without entering any username and password, right? So what typically happens is Salesforce will automatically pick up the default admin user that gets created when a scratch org is created, and then it just opens up the org. Now this is where we're going to use the other command to generate the password because we don't want every time, right, to use this SFTX open command to open the org. Typically, this is going to help senior developers and org admins, whoever is creating a scratch org on behalf of the developer, and for doing business use case implementation or work item implementation. So in such cases, right? So you can create a scratch org and then you can generate or you need to generate the password for the developers to log in. So when you hand it over, when you hand over the scratch up to the developer, you have to give them, hey, this is the login URL and this is the username and this is the password for you to log into the scratch up and then start doing the development work, right? So that's how it needs to happen. So and that's what they're going to do it now. So now we just open the org with the org open command, but in our case, right, this is not required, isn't it? So let me just close this one. Let's go back here. And first I want to generate the password, which I can do it with simple statement, with simple command, force user. There is a password topic under which you have a command called generate. And I can just say, I want to generate a password, for this org, PRMORGV3. So, and I did not mention, right? Intentionally, I'm not going to mention the username, for which the user name for which I want to generate the password. Typically, what happens is if I don't mention the username, I'm going to enter. So by default, Salesforce will pick up the system administrator that got created when the scratcher was created, and then it just generates the password. As you can see, the password has just been generated. As you can see, this is the password, right, for the system administrator. Okay, so I can in fact create a password for other users as well, which we will just see very shortly the exact command. But right now we got the we got the password created, right? But what is the URL that I want to use it? Can I use login.salesforce.com? Certainly you can use it, but there is other way to find the URL directly, which is again SFDX force user display. So when you issue this command, you will get a comprehensive view of details like, hey, this is the username and this is the profile and this is the login URL name, which helps us to directly log in. So let me just open a new browser. Let me just copy the URL, put it right here, and I'm going to copy the username and I'm going to copy the password. So now this will also take me to the same scratch that has just been created. So let's wait for it to log in. Perfect, the same thing, right? Connect data. So that's it. We just logged into the scratch right, with the new password that's been generated, right, for the system administrator. So cases like where you wanted to, let me just clear this one. Cases like where you want to generate a password, right, for a specific set of users, we can certainly do that with the same command. If I just use -h, this will give me the list of parameters that it can take in. And we do have a parameter called -o, just on behalf of, using which I can simply able to mention the username. For example, I can just say -o, and within double quotes, I'll just say I'll just mention the username. For example, I have a user John Doe at xyz.com, comma, I have John Vic at the rate xyz.com. So these are the usernames. I can just use comma separator and then have the same command to generate password for all these users. And I can just use the previous command user.display to look at the exact username and the password, which I can later share it with the developers, and developers can start logging into the scratcher and then further do the development. Again, this knowledge will particularly be helpful when you have when you have the scratch creation automated in your project. So you may write your batch script or you may write your shell script that automatically creates a scratch and automatically adds users, the business users, test users, developers, etc. And then it using this command you can able to generate password and then later share it with the user. So that's where this particular command will be extremely helpful. I hope this helps. Thank you.